When historians look back, 2026 is going to be considered to be the beginning of the end of the United States as a superpower. It hasn't even been 1 month, and already we've had 5 major events. The first is, despite the kidnapping of President of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, nothing's actually changed in Venezuela. In fact, the kidnapping was so unpopular that Venezuelans in the country, including the opposition, rallied around the government. Now, Trump keeps bragging how he's going to get all this free oil from Venezuela. That's not true. The oil, yes, is being sold at a discount, but Venezuela is actually getting some of that revenue. Already, they've actually apparently gotten $300 million worth of it. The second has to do with Canada. We saw Prime Minister Mark Carney go to China. And this is quite shocking because Canada is often considered to be the closest ally of the United States. And of all the countries in the world, is actually the most reliant on the United States for trade. But Trump's threats to annex the country has greatly angered Canadians, leading Prime Minister Carney to go to China to hopefully boost trade. And in that meeting, it was actually largely successful. The two countries agreed to drop tariffs against each other, and Canada actually plans to increase its exports to China by 50% over the next 4 years, and in doing so is distancing itself from the United States. The third has to do with Iran. At the height of the Iran protests, it seemed Trump was going to bomb the country. Now, this is not something I support, but if there was a time it was going to happen, that probably would have been it. Because as the protests were growing, a lot of Iran's security forces were distracted and thus would have had a hard time resisting the United States. But Trump chickened out, and the Iranian government still remains. And now that the protests have died somewhat, Iran's even more prepared should the United States decide to attack it. The fourth has to do with this whole thing regarding Greenland. Trump keeps saying he wants to annex Greenland, and this has alienated the Europeans, which until recently were some of the closest allies of the United States. And already the Europeans have retaliated at least somewhat, with pension funds in Denmark and Sweden selling their US dollars. This is actually a very significant move because when you sell the US dollars, the value of the dollar goes down, and therefore this actually undermines the United States' financial hegemony as well as the US economy. Now, Trump has apparently backed down from annexing Greenland as of the time of filming of this video, but the damage to the US dollar has already been done. Fifth and finally, absolutely my favorite, is the fact that despite the horrible genocide going in Gaza, and despite the billions of dollars the United States has sent to Israel, the Palestinian resistance still remains strong. Israel has caused a lot of destruction, but what's received in return is growing alienation from the international community and increasing unpopularity even in Western countries. Thank you.